welcome to your Breath+Expansion practice. If you would like to use my Spotify playlist, it is When We're Fire. And if you would like to grab at least one block, I'm going to use one at the beginning of practice for supported heroes pose. But I'm also going to talk you through supported heroes without a block, so if you don't have one. But even if you were to have something like a pillow or a cushion, just anything at all, right? If you are going to cue up some music, now's a great moment to do so. And let's dive in and get started, shall we? So, starting off in an opening supported heroes, I'm going to take a block and slide it between my inner heels. And then from there, just sit back onto the block. So as you can see, if you don't have a block, you could just be sitting on your heels, right? That is going to put a little bit more pressure on the tops of your feet, maybe even perhaps around the ankles. But it's all good, y'all. So just get into a space, and if none of this feels good in your body, just sit on your bottom, Sukhasana, cross your legs, feet at the ankles, yeah? And let's take this moment to really drop in here. So if you feel comfortable closing down your eyes, that's my invitation. And then feel whatever it is that is touching the ground, feel that root down and for that connection to get a little bit deeper, right? So you truly feel the ground beneath you supporting you, but your body is also the thing that is holding you up, right? It's a gentle draw of the pit of your belly back so that you're supported. And then allow for your spinal column to stack one vertebra on top of the other. It could feel a little bit like a staircase. And then the crown of your head reaches up, but your chin stays neutral. Now your hands can rest in your lap with your palms facing up. But allow for the knots on the front of your shoulders to draw slightly back so that your collarbones broaden and your shoulder blades pin down to your upper back. If you would like a different hand placement, you could have one hand on the low belly, one hand on your heart. And just be here. Feel the connection. Stepping out of your morning, it's 8 o'clock here. But perhaps you've already lived a whole life this morning, right? Perhaps this is the first thing you're doing since opening your eyes. You take all of that into account without getting too attached to it, right? Like it doesn't really mean anything other than it might change the way your physical body is showing up in this space right now. But we're going to open it all up here shortly. Notice that when you start to truly connect and pay attention to your breath, the way everything else just starts to slowly drift away. And as you breathe in, know you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, know you're breathing out. Breathe in. Know you're breathing in. And you breathe out. And you know you're breathing out. Continue this breath in this manner, holding yourself gently, right? So there's a saying, when you take your palms and you draw them softly together, but you leave this space, so it's like the fingertips and the heel of your palms touch. You could hold a lotus flower between your two palms without crushing the petals, right? You're holding it so gently. It's safe, it's protected, it's all of those things. But you're doing all of that without crushing it, without breaking it. And in that space, by not crushing, you allow so much to grow, right? You allow for it to flourish, you allow for an even further blooming. For when we press the palms together and there's no space for anything to grow, we're inhibiting our own growth, right? There's no room for anything else to get in. So hold yourself in that manner, even as you practice, as we begin to move, you're breathing. Your connection allows you to bloom even further, allowing for the opening of your mind, right? So there's no other path except for your feet to move one in front of the other into the next right thing, and then the next, and then the next, and the next. And it just becomes this progression where you can't do anything but exactly what is right for you, because that's just what naturally takes place. It's just what happens because you are that centered, you are that grounded. You are allowing space for other things to come in to teach you so that your growth continues. Because you can't pour into an empty cup, right? So when you're ready, you're still breathing. The breath is deep and even. You're allowing for the inhale and the exhale to match both in duration and intensity. Gently come forward so that you can lift your seat, remove the block out from under you if you have one, and then sit it back down. Hips to your heels, and then extend your legs out in front of you for Dandasana. This is your staff pose. Now you're probably going to have to move the flesh out of the way. All good. Find your sits bones, let your toes point up, and then your hands come down towards the side body. Press your palms down, the arms are straight, your spine is long. Draw your belly in and up. Now if you're working Jalandhara Bandha, you will tuck your chin towards your chest, but otherwise just leave your chin neutral and let your crown lift. Legs are engaged, the pit of your belly pulls in, and there's an internal rotation to your thigh bones so that your second and your third toes point straight up. Feel connected here. Now, as you're ready, take one more inhale. And then on the exhale, you slowly release. With your inhale, float your arms up overhead. Reach them out and up. And then exhale, I will take a generous bend to the knees. Take your ribs to your thighs, and then your hands find your feet. Now, if your hands don't find your feet, don't overthink it, right? Just let your hands come down. It's all good. On the inhale, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, pull yourself forward a little bit more. And you breathe the whole time. Perfect. Now slowly walk yourself up. Keeping this gentle today, I'm going to slide back a little bit, bend my knees, bring my hands back behind my hips with my fingertips pointing towards me. Find your sits bones, and we're just looking for just enough, so don't overthink it. Slide your toes back, lift your chest, so it's a modified boat pose, right? Navasana. Now perhaps you lift one leg, breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Place your toes back down. I mean, you're more than welcome to take both legs up, right? I'm not trying to make this a whole lot about like core work or anything like that. It's more of a warming up of the whole body. Finding that way to balance on the sits bones. One more breath in, lift your chest. And then exhale, place your toes down on the ground. Cross your feet at the ankles and find box pose, so all fours. I'm going to shimmy back a little bit myself and grab my blanket. And then once you're in all fours, check that you're stacking your joints, shoulders, elbows, wrists, knees come underneath your hips. And then inhale, drip a soft belly down towards the ground. Lift your chin, lift your tail. And exhale to reverse the movement. Don't mount your upper back, but let your head hang. I really want y'all to feel this out today. So it's easy to go into default mode here because we cat-cow almost every time. Inhale, drape a soft belly down. I want you to feel the articulation of your spine. Feel the undulation of your spine, right? So you start to move this through. You tuck your tail. You'll feel the top of your pubic bone draw up towards your navel, and then you press the earth away, let your head hang. And then inhale, curl your belly down. Lift your sits bones. So you spread through your sits bones. Press your heart forward. Lift your chin. And then exhale to reverse it. Don't mount your upper back. Tuck your chin. Separate your shoulder blades. Now you're more than welcome to stay right here. If you need something out of this vertical plane, take up your whole mat. Start to shift yourself around. Feel out everything, right? So there's no kind of wrong, right way to do this. It's just feeling it out. Now I will say, it's easy to chase the feel good, right? Because we say it a lot. And I catch myself saying it as I teach. It's easy to be like, do what feels good. And my teacher, Amy, she reminded us the other day, if you're always only just doing what feels good, right? What feels good is not always what is actually beneficial to you. Typically what feels good is what you always do, right? Because as humans, we avoid discomfort. But discomfort is where the growth lies. Pain and discomfort are different. So if it's painful, you move away from that. But if it's uncomfortable, especially here in your physical practice, it's like, ooh, it's probably because I don't do this very often. And maybe doing it a little bit more would be helpful, right? So just move. And when you're ready, come back into your neutral spine. Press your palms down. Curl up your toes. And then the space between your navel and your pubic bone, you draw it up so that you support your lumbar spine. Take your inhale. And then exhale. Use that same undulation type movement to pull your hips up and back. Let your heels get heavy to downward facing dog. So let your heels drape down. Whether they actually touch the ground or not, we're not that concerned with, right? But it's getting that first initial stretch through the calf muscles. And then you can pedal out your feet, you can take movement, you can be still, you do you. All right. Hips high, chest in towards your thighs. Inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. Use your whole breath. On the exhale, step your right foot forward to your thumb and then soften your left knee down. So stay here for a moment. There's a 90-degree bend to your right knee. And then you're scissoring your inner thighs towards one another. Inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Salamba Anjaneyasana. Stay for your exhale. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, bring your hands down to the top of your right thigh. And then slowly just kind of massage your fascia, your quadricep muscle, away from your right hip joint. So creating some space around where it typically gets sticky here. Perfect. Take one more inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come down either to blocks or to the earth. Shift your hips back, straighten through your right leg and flex your toes back towards your shin. So feel the tailbone, draw towards the back of your mat, lengthen your spine, and then spin your navel towards your right thigh bone and breathe. Awesome. All right, now on your next inhale, walk yourself back forward. Firm everything up. Bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Now on the exhale, perhaps you lift your left heel towards your left glute. If balance feels great today, reach your left hand back, catch your left ankle, and draw your heel towards your glute. Perhaps the right hand meets it, but don't overdo it, y'all, because it's still early. So this is something like it just feels good and it feels natural to move into this space. Breathe. So the pit of your belly pulls back so that you're supported here. Take one more inhale. And then it's a very soft release as you exhale. Your left toes come down to the ground. Your hands frame your front foot. Inhale, curl up your left toes. Lift your left knee. Exhale, step your right foot back. Pull your navel in and up. Now everybody, inhale, knees down to the ground. Press your bottom high, and then exhale, Ashtangasana. So chest drops down, chin to the earth, gaze forward, but your elbows hug in. You're like a little inchworm. Now on your inhale, pull yourself through. Pubic bone and toenails to the ground. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then exhale, press back, child's pose, Balasana. Hips to your heels. Walk your arms forward, let your forehead come down. Breathe. You could roll your forehead side to side. I'm going to inhale, walk my hands forward. And then exhale, walk my hands over to the left. Get a side body stretch here for a second. Right through the right side body. And check in with your breath. Ideally, it's still that even, deep breath. And then inhale, walk your hands back through center. Exhale, walk them all the way over to the right. Breathe. And then inhale right back into center. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, press up into all fours. Curl up your toes. Exhale, wave your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So hips are high, chest in towards your thighs. Let your head hang. Inhale, left leg reaches all the way up. Use your whole breath. And then exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. Right knee comes down to the ground. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another before you come up. And then inhale, take your shoulders up over your hips, your arms up over your head. Supported crescent lunge. Exhale, you stay. Left knee is a 90-degree bend. Breathing here. Good, y'all. Take an inhale. Reach just a little bit higher. Exhale, bring your hands down to your left quad and start to do that same thing where you rub the top of your left thigh. Feel the fascia warm. The musculature gets a little bit warmer. Ideally, a little bit more supple, but if that's not the case, it's all good. But you're moving the flesh away from your left hip joint for just a second. So that space where it gets sticky, you kind of dig in there a little bit. And then inhale, take your arms out now. Exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Shift your hips back, straighten through the left leg. So when as I say straighten, it's just the action you're creating with your left leg. It doesn't actually have to go straight. You could have a deep or soft bend. The more your navel slides towards your left thigh bone, the left hip will pull back, right hip forward. And you breathe here. Excellent, y'all. Now on your next inhale, walk yourself back forward. Bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. And then stay for the exhale. Give yourself a second here. So get your foundation right. Press down into the big toe ball mound of your left foot. Inhale here. Exhale, perhaps you lift your right heel towards your right glute. Now, if that feels stable to you, your right hand can reach back and catch your right ankle. And it's okay if there's a little bit of movement. If that feels okay, maybe the left hand goes back too. But you're at any point where you start to feel super wobbly and unsafe, it's just a sign that you've gone too far, right? That's not the level of discomfort we're looking for. So you gotta learn to kind of ride that wave and know where your point is. Take one more inhale. It's a very soft release of your right toes to the ground, hands to the earth. Curl up your right toes, lift your right knee. Inhale, step your left foot back. Exhale, stay right here. Inhale, bring your knees down to the earth. Press your bottom high. Exhale, gaze forward. Slide your elbows past your rib cage as you drop your chest and your chin to the ground. So this is a back bend. And then inhale, pubic bone, toenails to the earth. Press your palms down. Roll your shoulders back. And then exhale, hips to your heels. Child's pose. Breathe it out. All right. Now inhale, press up into all fours. On the exhale, curl up your toes, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog, and you breathe. Spread your fingers out wide. So Surya Namaskar A, so your sun salutation A. Keeping it simple. I will say today, if you feel like taking chaturanga, I'm going to cue it the first time, and we'll just see how it goes, right? If this is your gentle day, because that's typically what this practice is, skip them, y'all. Like, skip them. It's not a thing. Inhale, soft bend to your knees, gaze forward. Exhale, step your feet to the top of your mat. As many or as few steps as you need. You might have blocks here at the top. Inhale, tabletop your back, crown forward, tailbone back, pull your belly in and up without cranking your neck. And then exhale, forward fold, let all of that go. Your head just hangs, the rest of your body is here. And then you press your feet down. Inhale, root to rise, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, hinge your hips forward, fold, chest to your thighs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale to your high plank, so your hands come down. Step your feet back. Hold here for a moment, so you have this option here to just press up into downward facing dog, to take your knees, chest, chin to the ground like we did earlier. If you're going to chaturanga, be particular about it. You inhale, shift yourself slightly forward. As you come down, you move like a unit. So on the exhale, lead with your heart, your throat, your chin, come halfway down. Bend your elbows, belly in and up. Inhale, pull your heart through to lift it. And then exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog and breathe. Create an apex with your hips. So as you're there, you're creating this inverted letter V shape with your body. So truly try to create the hinge at your hips and not at the navel or the waistline, right? That means that you might take a deep bend to your knees, and it's okay. Inhale, soft gaze goes forward. Exhale, step to your hands, as many or as few steps as you want. If you're a floater, float. Inhale, fingertips to your shins, crown forward, tail back. Your belly pulls in and up here to support your lumbar spine, and then you exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, root to rise, feet down, arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, chest to your thighs, drop the crown of your head down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, high plank. Take any option here. If you're chaturangaing, inhale, shift it forward. Exhale, come halfway down. Inhale, pull your heart through, upward facing dog or your cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog, breathe. We're going to take one more of those. Let your head go. Press down into your palms. And then inhale, gaze towards your hands. Exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, all the way up. And exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. You can always take fingertips to your shins if that feels more supportive. Exhale, hands down, step your feet back. Any option here. Chaturanga, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, pull your heart through to lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips high, Ardha Uttanasana, crown of your head bows down. Breathe it here. Now, typical alignment, which may mean nothing, right? So take it with a grain of salt. Hands are about shoulder width distance apart. Feet might be about hip width distance apart. But if when you start working into those patterns that are typical alignment cues, if it feels like trash in your body, you do something different, right? Your hands might be out wider. They might be a little bit closer. You have to kind of start listening to the feedback of your body so you quiet everything else down. Because your body will tell you the truth. Your body does not lie. It does not know how to lie, right? Your body only knows how to give you true and honest feedback. Now what you do with that, that's where the mind comes in and things get tricky, right? So with your inhale, use your whole breath. Float your right leg up to the sky. On the exhale, bend your right knee, stack your hips, send your right heel towards your left glute, but watch your right shoulder. And then inhale, re-extend your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb, your left heel goes flat. Feet are kind of like railroad tracks here. Inhale, press both feet down. Bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head for warrior one, so Virabhadrasana A. Exhale, soften down. So your right knee is a 90-degree bend. The left foot is flat, toes angling slightly inward. Legs stay the same, but inhale, reach your fingertips higher. Exhale, elbows back and down, open yourself up. Good. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, Baddha Hasta, and release your fingers at the base of your spine. Now you're more than welcome to just stay lifted here, otherwise slide your fists down past your sacrum. Inhale, open up through your chest, the fronts of your shoulders. And exhale, hinge forward. Let the crown of your head reach down towards the inner arch of your right foot as you take your fist up and over. Tuck your chin. One more inhale here. Exhale, let your hands come down to the inside of your right foot, heel toe your right foot over. Parallel your left toes and let your left knee come down. Breathe here, pull your heart through. So feeling this opening on your left hip flexor and your left psoas. Option is to stay right here, or root your left palm down, reach your right arm high. If it feels good, bend your left knee, reach your right hand back, catch your left ankle. So I will tell you, if at any point you're moving through a practice and you're like, oh, this is too hard, you are well within your personal agency, your power to make it not, right? So just sharing that, like my mom takes my class sometimes, and she'll say, some days you make it harder than other days. And I say, well, Mom, do what you need to do, right? Like, it's only hard if you make it hard. I can only offer. You do. So you choose, right? And then let your left toes come back down to the ground. Your right hand comes forward. Turn your right toes back forward if you turn them out. Curl up your left toes. Lift your left knee. And then as you exhale, straighten through your right leg. So this is a pyramid variation because both hands are inside your right leg, right? I'm really actively seeking the floor with my left heel to stretch my left calf. And then on my inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, quarter turn to the left. So I'm just going to switch so that I'm not sticking my bottom towards y'all. But you're going to quarter turn to the left and you're facing the long edge of your mat for Prasarita-Padottanasana, which is your wide leg forward fold. Toes angle slightly inward, so like a little pigeon toe. And then you inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, take your rib cage to the inner thighs and let your head hang. You might start to walk your hands back. Breathe. Alright, y'all. Now on your inhale, lengthen your spine. On the exhale, bend into your left knee for low skandasana to the back of your mat. So drop your bottom low. Rotate your right toes up towards the sky. Hands come to heart center if you like it. It's up to you, so don't overdo it, don't force it. We're just breathing here. And then you can use your hands or not. Inhale, lift your hips, walk yourself to the top of your mat. Frame your front foot. Exhale, standing split. Straighten your right leg, lift the left, let your head hang. Take an inhale. And then exhale, bend your left knee. Stack your hips, send your left heel towards your right glute. Now if it's just natural there, right hand catches left ankle, feel free to go for it. Otherwise you're just here, you could even circle out your left knee to get in towards your left hip. But wherever you go, you're breathing, right? And then with your inhale, it's a soft release. Your left leg reaches. And then on the exhale, closing your left hip, Left foot meets the right foot at the top of your mat, and you forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. If you need that chaturanga, take it. Otherwise, exhale, just hands down, step your feet back and lift up into your downward facing dog, your inverted letter V, head hangs. And then you don't have to do this. You can hold downward facing dog. I'm going to lift my heels, spin my heels to the right, toes to the left, and bend my knees and get a twist and drop my bottom down towards my heels just because I feel like I need it. Inhale, you lift, roll for center. Exhale, heels to the left, toes to the right, and you drop your hips towards your heels, gaze forward. All right, let's meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, float your left leg to the sky. Exhale, bend your left knee, stack your hip, open it up, watch your left shoulder. And then you inhale, left leg rising. Exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. Your right heel goes flat. Inhale, shoulders over your hips. Arms over your head. Stay for the exhale. Breathe here. By angling your right toes slightly inward, this allows for the right hip and the right side waist to wrap slightly forward. Inhale. Fingertips reach higher, but the lower body stays the same. Exhale, elbows back and down, open up through your chest. Inhale here. And then exhale, bind up your hands at the small of your back. Inhale. You're more than welcome to stay right here. Otherwise, you slide your fist past your sacrum. Open up through your chest. And then moving from that space between your navel and your pubic bone, exhale to hinge forward. And let the crown of your head dip down towards the inner arch of your left foot and work your fist up and over. Breathe. One more inhale here. And exhale, hands down to the inside of your left foot. Heel to your left foot over. Come to the ball of your right foot. You might wiggle your right foot back and bring your knee down to the ground. Just feel this out for a second first. No need to move anywhere else just yet. And then your right palm stays rooted. Your left arm reaches up to the sky. Perhaps you bend your right knee, reach your left hand back, catch your right ankle, crooked monkey variations, whatever you'd like. And you breathe. And it's a very gentle release of your right foot to the ground. Your left hand comes back forward. Now, turn your left toes back forward. Curl up your right toes. Lift your right knee. This is your inhale. Exhale, pyramid variation. Straighten through both legs. Shift your hips back. Press your palms down. And breathe. All right. Inhale, long spine. Exhale to quarter turn to the right. I have to kind of step my left foot forward a little bit so that everything's level and square. Toes angling slightly inward or at least parallel to the long edge of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine first, so take a half lift. And then exhale, really slide your torso down and through. Breathe. Pressing equally into both feet. You do have the option to take peace fingers to your big toes, loop them around, and then really pull yourself in. All right, slow release. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, bend into your right knee. And drop your bottom down. Rotate your left toes up. So low skandasana to the back of your mat. Right knee is bent. You're more than welcome to stay high. Hands can come to heart center. So at this point, Mula Bandha is what keeps you lifted. So you squeeze at the base of your pubic bone. Just breathing here, watching the extension of your left knee so it's not overdone it, right? And then you can use your hands or not, right? You inhale, lift, walk yourself to the top of your mat. Frame your front foot, parallel your back toes. And exhale, standing split. Straighten your left leg, lift the right. Think of the frontal rib cage, left side, really pressing in towards your left thigh bone. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, bend your right knee, stack your hip, open it up. Now, if it's just natural here for your left hand to grab your right ankle, go for it. But really try to pull your right knee up towards the sky. Perfect. Breathe. And then it's a very soft release. And your right foot comes down to the ground. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, chest to your thighs. Inhale, lengthen, heel toe your feet out. And then your heels go in, toes go out. Exhale, bend your knees, drop your bottom down. And let's just breathe here in Malasana, yogic squat. So if this feels like more than you've got for today, slide a block underneath you. Eventually your shoulders stack over your hips. The way you're breathing. Alright. And when you're ready, just sit yourself down. Baddha Konasana, your butterfly pose. So bring the soles of your feet together, heels in towards your sits bones. And perhaps the knees are falling open. You can bring your heels in closer. I sometimes kind of press myself in. If that feels like a lot, for the groin, the knees, anything, you're going to make a wider diamond and take your feet farther away from your pelvis. Otherwise, you're here. Hands come to your feet. Inhale, lengthen your spine first. And then exhale, you can hinge through your hips and fold forward. Breathe. And slowly bring yourself back up. Bring your knees together. Wrap your arms around your shins for just a second. And then take your feet about hip width distance apart. Bring your hands behind you. Press your palms down. Fingertips point towards you. And then inhale. Lift your hips up. Take a reverse tabletop. Gaze to the ceiling. One more inhale here. And then inhale, sit yourself down. All right, so slide this back a little bit. Take your left leg long out in front of you. Janu Shirshasana A. Bring the sole of your right foot towards your left inner thigh. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And on the exhale, fold yourself forward. So you're hinging at your left hip. We're not super worried about your chest getting all the way towards the leg, your hands to your foot. But that's the direction you're moving in. Now, if you need to bend your left knee, you do. It's all good. Just bend it and breathe. If your hands clear your left foot, flip your right palm away from your face And your left hand catches your right wrist. You're going to get a little bit of a stretch through your right lat, your rhomboids maybe, but more like the lat. And breathe. And then inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale to release. Bring your shoulders over your hips. Lift your right knee. Place your right foot down onto the floor. Now cross your right foot to the outside of your left knee or thigh and seal the inner arch of your right foot down. Right hand comes behind your right hip. Inhale, lift your left arm long. And then exhale, twist in towards your right leg. Now inhale, use your right arm like a second spine, long spine. And then exhale, twist a little bit more. Breathe. And then on your inhale, turn your gaze forward. Exhale, drop your hands over to the left and get a counter twist. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale to release, let both legs come long. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. And then walk yourself back up. Right leg stays long. Bring the sole of your left foot towards your right inner thigh. And then inhale, reach both arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your right hip and fold forward. Same thing. If your hands kind of clear your right foot, don't make it a goal. If it just naturally happens, flip your left palm away from you. Right hand catches left wrist. And you breathe here for 5, right? So you could bend your right knee if you need to. Spin your navel towards your right thigh bone. And breathe deeply here. And then you inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale to release, bring your shoulders back over your hips. Lift your left knee. Drop your left sit bone down, and then let your left foot come to the outside of your right thigh. Right leg is active. Left hand behind your left hip. Inhale, reach your right arm high. Exhale, twist in towards your left leg. Right fingertips kind of move towards your left clavicle if that feels okay to you. And you breathe, but think of your shoulders stacking over your hips. So this is about your upper and middle thoracic spine. It's not about the hips, low back. Breathe deeply, even as you contort, even as you twist. And then on your next inhale, turn your gaze forward. And then on your exhale, drop your hands over to the right. Good. And inhale, come back for center. Exhale, release. Let both legs go long. Okay, so sliding your hips slightly towards your heels. Bring your feet down to the ground about hip-width distance apart. And then take a C curve to your spine. Roll it down one vertebra at a time. And then once you're down, cross your right ankle over your left knee. And give your right foot a little flex. Let your right knee move away from you. Now you could stay right here in this figure 4. Or if you want to recline pigeon, draw your left knee, your left thigh in towards your chest. Nuzzle your right forearm in towards your right inner thigh, but keep your head, neck, and shoulders relaxed. You can even close your eyes at this point. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, let your left foot come down to the ground. Inhale, open your arms out like a T. And then exhale, let your knees fall to the left and turn your gaze to the right. You can hug your right knee in towards you. You can leave it exactly as it is. You can press it away from you gently. Just finding that twist that speaks to you. And then inhale, come right back through center, unravel. And exhale, let your low back go flat. Inhale, left ankle crosses over right knee, right thigh. You can slide your left knee away from you. You can stay right here or exhale. Interlace your fingers around your right hamstring and draw your thigh towards you. Baby flex to your left foot to support your knee. And even in this space, you're breathing in, you know you're breathing in. And you're breathing out. And you know you're breathing out. Do one more inhale here. And then exhale, let your right foot come down to the ground. Inhale, open your arms out like a T. And then exhale, drop your knees to the right. Turn your gaze to the left. You have the option to leave your left knee exactly as it is. You can slide it gently away from you. You can draw it closer into you. Let both shoulders feel heavy and rooted to the mat. And then on your next inhale, slowly draw through center so that you can unravel. And exhale into a happy baby. Peace fingers to the big toes or hands to your inner outer arches of your feet. Think of the knees coming towards your armpits, thighs going parallel to the ground. All while the tailbone stays down on the ground. And then options here, you can take a legs up the wall, waterfall. If you want a supported waterfall, feet come down to the ground first. You inhale, lift your hips, slide the block underneath your sacral area. And then you would take your feet into the sky. If you have a shoulder stand in your practice and you prefer to do that, by all means, go for it. Move into this space and just allow for the blood to fall away from your feet, right? Just getting your feet into the sky. If you're in a shoulder stand series, at some point your feet will drop over your head into Halasana, your plow pose. If you're taking a supported waterfall all night, just stay where you are. And if you're in shoulder stand series, after you've spent at least 5 breaths in each phase, right, you can end in your ear pressure pose. about 5 breaths in whatever it is that you're still in. Now if you're in a supported waterfall with a block underneath you, the feet come down first. And then you inhale, press your feet down, lift your hips up. Slide the block out from underneath you. And then exhale to come down. If you need a windshield wiper your feet or anything like that, if there's anything at all that you need to be satisfied, content with your practice, please feel free to move into that space at this point. You might need to, if you're using the playlist, go to the second to last song or the last song. And then when you're ready, hug your knees in towards your chest. Take an inhale. On the exhale, round your forehead up towards your knees. One more breath here. And then exhale, extend your feet forward. Let your feet hang comfortably open. Arms can come down by the side body, or you can sprawl out. Close down the eyes. Relax your brows. Relax your jaw. Do whatever it is that you need to be able to drop into this space. So, your Shavasana is your rest, right? Assimilating all of the changes that took place in your physical asana practice. You release any pranayama, any actual breath work that you're doing, and you go back into your natural breathing pattern. And the bottom side of your body is rooted, it's grounded, it might feel heavy. While the top side is light, it's floating, it's weightless. And you welcome yourself into this space, into this dimension. And you rest. Enjoy. What you need is to be here a little bit longer. You can tune me out. You can stay right where you are. Let's begin to deepen your breath. And to wiggle your fingers, your toes. On your inhale, float your arms up overhead into your full body stretch. And on your exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shin. Take a second here. And you'll roll over to the left, passing through your fetal position. And eventually press up into your comfortable, easy sit, your Sukhasana with your feet crossed at the ankles. And let's just take this moment here. I've been thinking about how I haven't been chanting lately, like at all. And I'm not like a professional chanter. Like, I used to teach and I would chant a little, like at the beginning and end of every class. And I've moved away from that a lot. And I don't really know why. Just kind of thinking about that. But what's been resonating with me lately, I'm not going to chant today, but as we're sitting here, seal your palms together and just maybe even mantra, right? So, Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu. Wishing that all beings are healthy, free from suffering, that my work on this earth is aiding in that endeavor, right? That we're moving in that direction. So may peace be with each and every one of you as you go on about your day, whenever it is that you take this practice. And maybe you just repeat it to yourself one last time. Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.